Have you ever noticed that after eating something sweet, you feel foggy or forgetful? It might seem small, but over time, sugar could be doing real damage to your brain. A major study found that people who consumed high amounts of sugar had a smaller hippocampus. That's the part of your brain that controls memory. That's right, your morning coffee, your favorite dessert, even healthy snacks could be quietly shrinking your brain. But the good news? With just a few simple changes, you can protect your memory, sharpen your focus, and even boost your mood, starting today. So, if you're over 60 and want to keep your brain strong for years to come, this video is for you. Let's dive in and uncover the surprising ways sugar may be affecting your brain health. Now, let's take a deeper dive into what sugar actually does to your brain, particularly when it comes to memory and long-term brain health. First, excessive sugar consumption promotes chronic inflammation in the brain. This isn't the kind of inflammation you can see or feel, but it works like a slow-burning fire, damaging brain cells and disrupting how they communicate with one another. Research published in the journal Neuroscience shows that diets high in refined sugar can increase levels of pro-inflammatory cytokines, which interfere with cognitive function and memory formation. Over time, this low-grade inflammation wears down your brain's ability to process, store, and retrieve information. That's why many people with high sugar diets report symptoms like forgetfulness, trouble concentrating, or what's often described as brain fog. Second, sugar directly impacts a region of the brain called the hippocampus, your brain's memory center. Studies, including one from the journal Brain, Behavior, and Immunity, have found that high intake of added sugars is associated with reduced hippocampal volume. Why does that matter? Because the smaller your hippocampus, the harder it becomes to form new memories and retain old ones, essentially shrinking your mental storage capacity. Third, excessive sugar can lead to insulin resistance in the brain. You may already be familiar with insulin resistance in the body, a hallmark of type 2 diabetes. But the brain also uses insulin to regulate energy metabolism and support neuron function. When the brain becomes insulin resistant, it struggles to utilize glucose effectively, starving your neurons of energy. This metabolic dysfunction is so significant that some researchers have referred to Alzheimer's disease as type 3 diabetes. So, while sugar might seem harmless or even comforting, in the short term, its long-term effects on your brain can be deeply damaging. What feels like a mental fog today could evolve into real memory problems tomorrow. Sugar has a sneaky way of slipping into your daily meals, even when you think you're eating healthy. But how do you really know if you're consuming too much? Your body will tell you if you know what signs to look for. 1. You often feel tired or drained for no clear reason. One of the most common signs of excessive sugar intake is persistent fatigue, especially after eating sweet or starchy foods. Sugar causes a rapid spike in blood glucose, which triggers your body to release insulin. Once that sugar is processed, your blood sugar crashes, leaving you feeling sluggish, sleepy, or out of battery. This constant up and down cycle doesn't just sap your physical energy. It can also hurt your focus and productivity. According to the Mayo Clinic, high sugar diets are closely linked to chronic fatigue and disrupted energy metabolism. 2. You feel mentally foggy or can't concentrate. When you eat too much sugar, unstable blood glucose levels can lead to something called brain fog, a state where your mind feels slow, cloudy, and hard to focus. A study published in the journal Neuroscience found that high sugar diets interfere with neurotransmitter activity in the hippocampus, the brain area responsible for memory and concentration. Over time, insulin resistance, common in those who consume too much sugar, may further impair cognitive function. That's why you might find yourself forgetting things or struggling to think clearly. 3. You constantly crave sweets or carbs. Sugar cravings aren't just a habit. They're a signal that something deeper is out of balance. When you eat sugar, your brain releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical. But with frequent sugar intake, your brain's response dulls and you need more sugar to get the same feeling. It's the same mechanism seen in addiction. In fact, a study from Princeton University showed that rats fed sugar displayed withdrawal symptoms and cravings similar to those seen with caffeine or even narcotics. That's how deeply sugar can affect the brain. 4. Your mood swings easily. You feel irritable or anxious. As your blood sugar spikes and crashes, your body reacts by triggering emotional instability. Irritability, sadness, and even anxiety can become more frequent. Sugar reduces serotonin, the hormone that stabilizes mood, and increases cortisol, your stress hormone. Research from the University of London found that people who consumed high levels of sugar were 23% more likely to develop depression compared to those who ate less. If your emotions feel like a roller coaster lately, sugar might be playing a bigger role than you think. 5. You're gaining belly fat, even if your weight isn't changing much. Not everyone who eats sugar becomes visibly overweight, but sugar tends to promote fat storage in dangerous places. Fructose, a form of sugar commonly found in soft drinks and sweets, is processed in the liver. When consumed in excess, it gets converted to triglycerides and stored as visceral fat, particularly around the organs. A study in the Journal of Clinical Investigation found that fructose increases visceral fat storage 3 times more than glucose. This kind of hidden fat may not show up on the scale, but it's strongly linked to type 2 diabetes and heart disease. 6. You're becoming more forgetful or mentally slower than usual. Consistently high sugar intake can damage neurons, especially in the hippocampus, the part of the brain critical for learning and memory. Sugar doesn't just promote low-grade inflammation in the brain, it also disrupts the formation of synapses, the connections between brain cells. According to the Journal of Neuroscience, people who eat high-sugar diets perform worse on memory tests, even at younger ages. If you've noticed that you're forgetting names, missing appointments, or struggling to recall things that used to be easy, your brain may be quietly asking for help. You might be telling yourself, I've already cut back on sugar, so why do I still feel like I'm overdoing it? Well, the answer may lie in the foods you least expect. Many everyday foods, even the ones marketed as healthy, can be packed with hidden sugars. Let's uncover the surprising sources of sugar that could be sneaking into your meals without you even realizing it. When people think of sugar, they usually imagine candies, soft drinks, or cakes. But in reality, sugar hides in many everyday foods you might think are healthy. Take flavored yogurt, for example. It sounds like a good choice for breakfast or a snack, but many fruit-flavored yogurts contain as much sugar as a small can of soda. Always check the label. Even so-called low-fat versions often make up for taste by adding more sugar. Another surprising source is granola, or breakfast cereals. While marketed as healthy, some of these are loaded with sweeteners like honey, syrup, or cane sugar. Even a small bowl can deliver 2 to 3 teaspoons of sugar without you realizing it. Let's not forget about store-bought sauces. Ketchup, barbecue sauce, or even salad dressings often include added sugar to enhance flavor. Just 2 tablespoons of ketchup can contain 1 full teaspoon of sugar. Even whole wheat or healthy breads may contain added sugar to improve texture or shelf life. It's the same story with many protein bars and health snacks. They sound nutritious but often act like disguised candy bars. Lastly, packaged fruit juices and smoothies are often mistaken for healthy choices. Yes, they come from fruit, but once processed, they're stripped of fiber and packed with concentrated sugars. A glass of bottled juice might have more sugar than a donut. The key lesson? Sugar doesn't just come in obvious forms. It's often hiding behind labels like natural sweetener, organic cane juice, or evaporated syrup. Reading the ingredient list and nutrition label is the best way to protect your health. So, what can you do to protect your brain from sugar? Here's the good news. It's never too late to start. Even if you've had a sweet tooth for years, your brain still has the power to bounce back, as long as you give it the right support. And the best part? You don't need big changes. Just small, consistent steps in your daily habits can keep your memory sharp and your mind clear. The first and most powerful step is to cut back on added sugars, especially from processed foods like sodas, candies, baked goods, and even flavored yogurts. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 25 grams of added sugar per day for women and 36 grams for men, but the average American consumes more than double that amount. Next, train your taste buds to appreciate natural sweetness. Fresh fruits like berries, apples, and oranges not only satisfy your sweet cravings, but also provide fiber, antioxidants, and vitamins that protect your brain from oxidative stress. Another key strategy is to balance your blood sugar. Eating protein and healthy fats, such as eggs, nuts, avocado, or olive oil, with every meal helps prevent blood sugar spikes that lead to crashes and brain fog. Stable blood sugar means better mental clarity. Don't forget about movement. Exercise increases blood flow to the brain, enhances insulin sensitivity, and supports neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to grow and adapt. Just a 30-minute walk a day can make a significant difference. Lastly, get enough sleep. Poor sleep has been shown to increase sugar cravings the next day and reduce your brain's ability to detoxify itself. Aim for 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep every night. Protecting your brain doesn't require extreme diets, just a few consistent, mindful habits that will pay off for years to come. So, remember, your brain is incredibly adaptable, no matter your age. By choosing smarter foods, cutting back on hidden sugars, and building healthier daily habits, you're not just protecting your memory, you're giving your brain the energy and clarity it needs to thrive. Start small, stay consistent, and your future self will thank you. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow and reach more people who care about their brain health. Thanks for watching, and take good care of yourself.